Behind me is the square of Salisbury. The courthouse back in the 1700s would have sat right in the middle of the square. So everybody would have had to drive around it in their wagons and things like that. Made it the place to gather in Salisbury. And on August 8th, 1774, that is where a group of men called the Rowan County Committee of Safety gathered to write the Rowan Resolves. The Rowan Resolves were an early attempt at protesting what was going on in Boston by the British government. And that sense of protest actually continues all the way up to this day, which is pretty cool that we're here doing a video about the Rowan Resolves, the revolution, and we have a political protest going on while we're doing it, just less than a block away from us.
So as Aaron mentioned earlier, during the regulator movement, you had people that were in charge here in the city. They were the justices of the peace. They were people who were powerful and important in Salisbury and Rowan County. They would have been known as anti-regulators. The people that are going to write the Rowan Resolves would have been anti-regulators in that movement. But as we move on to this, they're starting to see where Britain is taking more control over their economic future and their economic freedom. And so tying into what happened in Boston with the Boston Tea Party, after that, the British passed what Americans will call the Intolerable Acts, but Britain's going to call them all the things that the taxes were on, like tea and different things like that. They're going to protest those things. And in Boston, there's a group that is encouraging other colonists to write documents that say, we protest what's happening in Boston, but we would also protest it if it's happening to us. So it's a sign of solidarity in a time where the colonies haven't really been, together collectively in their one political thought. So the meat of the resolves is really economic protectionism, and it has to do with things like not trading with Britain, with making sure that if colonists are not being represented in British Parliament, they should not have to pay British taxes, which goes back again to a gripe that they had right after the French and Indian War. There's also different things in there about what type of livestock and what type of fiber should be grown, because it's things that could be grown and easily raised here in the colonies. There was also a resolve that was in this group that talked about how the colonists here were supporting the people of Boston as they went through the occupation that happened after the Boston Tea Party. Something that really stands out from the Rowan Resolves was an objection to the African slave trade. And you would see that as something that if you're thinking purely from an abolition standpoint, this is a revolutionary type of statement that's being made by merchants and people here in Rowan County. But really what it was doing is it was protecting jobs, it was protecting the ability for people from other countries in Europe to come and live here in the colony of North Carolina, and specifically in Rowan County.
All of that economic protectionism, getting rid of the African slave trade, was also an attempt by the anti-regulators who are writing that document to get the old regulators on their side. Remember, these are people who just 3 years before, they were charging exorbitantly high fees for their land, and they even met on the battlefield. All right. So whenever they write this document up, what they're trying to do is they're trying to write a document that will appeal to as many people in Rowan County as possible. And for those who are on the fence about, well, I'm not necessarily a big supporter of the British government, but I also don't want to support you guys who just a few years ago were taking my money and shooting at me. That's a big bridge to cross, and the Rowan Resolves is the first attempt at doing that.
It's been really great to be back today and to do a new video covering some time periods that we haven't really covered before in other videos. And I know that millions of our fans, especially on like Twitter, which is now X, and there's been this really weird thread on Reddit. I don't know what that's about, but they really want us back. It's just been a lot of buzz for that. But all those fans are probably going to be wondering when we first watch this episode, where's Molly?
Well, I had to give Molly a bath a few days ago, and we've been on non-speaking terms ever since then. So once she comes back around and is able to forgive me for the bath, she may be able to come back out and do some videos with us.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't blame her one bit.
Today we talked about the French and Indian War, the regulator movement, and also the Rowan Resolves.
Yes.
3 very key events in the lead up to the American Revolution.
And in our next video, we're going to talk about the committee that was created by the people who signed the Rowan Resolves, called the Rowan Committee of Safety. We're also going to get into a lot of hijinks that they had when that was going on, because while some people may think history is boring, the people who really know, they have no idea. It is just as interesting as our everyday life. We're also going to do a video later on that's going to focus on the British invasion of Salisbury in 1781. So we hope that you are just as excited as we are to start doing these again, and we're going to be getting back at it very, very soon. So the resolves that were passed in 1774 focus more on economic protectionism. It's all about allowing the people that lived here to control what they felt like was their money, how they earned it, but also their livestock. It also, there's a, let me try that again.
It's your digital, so you know.
I know. I'm sitting here thinking, and I got plenty of room, so I can screw up as much as I want to.
Yep.
Why don't you, no, don't stop it. Yeah, stop it.
Killed a mosquito, just like that. Bam! Got
on
it.
November 2nd.
Yep, November 2nd mosquito, yes.
After this massive truck drives by.
Every single diesel truck in the world is coming by.
It's a parade today. No, don't park.
He is.
Dang it.
He's gonna sit over here and roll coals, what he's gonna do. Yep, see, I told you. I told you.
We're not only going to have to wait for the sound, we're going to have to wait for the exhaust so we don't die. Because it is
thick.
Yeah.
He's definitely deleted that one, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, why is this light so long? Seriously, it's a Saturday.
There's been no car come by or turn.
There we go. Get on out of here. Trolley's going to come through in a second.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Take 4.